For all the talk about how Gran Turismo is more simcade than sim racing, there's absolutely no denying that most, if not all the tracks in the game are absolutely with track names like Deep Forest, Grand Valley Speedway and Trial Mountain get you all excited, then stay tuned because I've rounded up all the best Gran Turismo maps I could find for this video. Alrighty then, let's do this, shall we? First up is my personal favourite track in Gran Turismo. Here is the Deep Forest Raceway. The layout on this fictional track is so good that it's been in every single Gran Turismo game since the beginning, which really says something about how replayable it is. It winds its way through a dense forest setting, but there's also some tunnel sections which I remember used to be a great place to dive bomb the AI cars in Gran Turismo. And we go on to another all-time favourite, and I have a feeling that this track, or maybe even Deep Forest Raceway from the previous one, could be the most driven game tracks in the world. I don't know, which do you prefer, Trial Mountain or Deep Forest? I mean, Trial Mountain has also been in all the main versions of Gran Turismo since the beginning, which says something about how the bunch of twisty bits really flow very well together to make up this beautiful racetrack. This track is also said to be inspired by Mount Tsukuba in Japan. Next up is Special Stage Route 5 or SS5 for short. You can race this track at any time you want as long as it's nighttime. That's right, this was one of the few tracks which was set at nighttime on GT and it was always crazy fun. And I think these GT4 cars look absolutely nuts at night. If you love the Shutoko Revival project, you're going to love this. Yet another OG track from the Gran Turismo franchise is Grand Valley Speedway. It's been renamed to Grand Valley Highway 1 in GT7, but this is the version that I remember grinding on for the Grand Valley 300km endurance race in the original GT1 game. All of that just to win the prize car for coming in first place, which was the JGTC Castrol Toyota Supra. This brings us to Midfield Raceway. The layout of this racetrack is a lesser utilized figure 8 layout with one of the turns passing over the main straight. This wide track has a nice long straight and many high-speed corners, some of which are banked turns as well. Some say that this track is a simplified version of the iconic Suzuka circuit, and I can certainly see some similarities. Up next is the Autumn Ring Circuit. Despite the name, there is absolutely no leaves on the ground and it's one of the smaller tracks in the GT series, spanning a length of just under 3 kilometers. It's tight and technical, and I'll be honest, it was never one of my favourite tracks in the game, but I think that's tough when it's up against the previous tracks on this list. Get your horsepower on because you're going to need it for this Red Rock Valley Speedway circuit. This 4.1km circuit is basically like a triple oval circuit with some really high speed banked corners, which makes you feel like you can take them at full throttle, but trust me, you can't. Strangely, this track only appeared in GT2, even though I think it's really fun to drive on, especially if you load up something like a hypercar. Moving on to the High Speed Ring, which is a high speed circuit which is really beginner friendly. Because of the high speeds, you need to make sure you get a good line out of the corners so you maximize your top speeds at the end of the straights. You're going to want to bring out the big horsepower cars here to make the most of this 2.5km track. And moving on to El Capitan. I'm not very familiar with this circuit as it came out only in GT4, but I really enjoyed sending it on this track with its flowy linked corners which is set in the Yosemite National Park. This track has some good elevation changes and tight corners which makes it great fun and definitely worth to give it a download. And now the final track on our list, we have Grindelwald. Was it Grindelwald? This track is set in the Swiss Alps and the mod comes with a snow map layout which is really unique for running in Assetto Corsa. It's a nice technical course with limited runoff areas, and although this track only appeared in GT2, it's definitely one of the more unique and fun tracks to race on with its rolling hills and old villages. A bonus fact is that the real-world Grindelwald town is a car-free resort town in Switzerland, so this is as close as you're going to get to racing there. So which Gran Turismo track is your favorite of all time? Let me know in the comment section below. I hope you guys liked this video and be sure to like and subscribe for more Assetto Corsa videos.